Now, mind you, we was left out of the situation after we created the situation. I'm the nigga that told Jeezy to start looking like me. Start looking like an LA Crip. And talking his BMF. Hit the brakes, hit the lights. Voila, there go them bricks. This all the he was seeing. He saw that in a spot car. And that was a combination from a car before. He's telling the combination from spot cars. That's how in-depth. That's why people loved it so much, because he was seeing what we was doing and he was transferring it to the lyrics. And niggas was like, oh my God, he's the ultimate street. No, that's Big Meech's work and his program of how he was doing his operations that y'all fell in love with listening to. I love that Jeezy went on to do great things. I don't like how he did it, but I love that it happened. You know why? Because it was my plan from the beginning for that to happen.
As we watch the cultural phenomena of BMF kind of at its peak now that the TV show is on and successful, and Big Meech's son is becoming a well-known actor. Meech is going to be out probably sometime late in next year. Let's revisit how it all got started. I interviewed Blue Da Vinci, and one of the sub-stories is about Jeezy and BMF, and his story and description of things actually sounds quite plausible.
Met Jeezy. That's how I met Jeezy. Magic City parking lot. This is, I believe, 2002. 2002, when them Hummers first came out, the H2s, whatever year them H2s first came out. We had twin H2s. Jeezy was broke down in the parking lot in an old school in Magic City. And me, Bull, Baby Blue, Big Cuz, like both all of us, we was all that lived in my house was in two Hummers. There's like 8 of us in two Hummers. Producer, S-Dog, all of us. So we waiting for the girls to tip out after the club is over to come with us and go home. We're going to tip them somewhere at home and had a little strip party at the crib. So the whole crowd that was in the club in Magic City that left from the parking lot, and you know, the girls be taking an hour and a half to count all that money. So we wait. When he broke down, so when everybody gone, he's still there. Baby D was like, oh man, they're gonna, your boy, you be listening to that song on that Southern Bread mixtape, that song you be playing all the time. It was a song that was a Dave Hollister remix that Jeezy had did, that I used to play. I used to like the hook. I'm like, oh, let's go see what's up with him. So we go to Jeezy, and that's how I met him. What's up, bro? He knew Baby D was, and she, what up, bro? This Blue, yeah, I know you. What's up, bro? BMF nigga, what's up, man? What's up with your car, bro? You straight, man? This motherfucker won't start, dog. Like, damn, you need a tow truck? You're like, yeah, you get a tow truck. And we got cars and all that shit out there. And we lit. We BMF at this time. We popping in the city. I'm just trying to get the music popping. They know us as a crew better than they know the music at the time. You know what I'm saying? So I called the flatbed. Boy, called the tow truck. He on the way. He comes. So by the time the tow truck put the car on, we just chopping it up about music and shit. I'm telling what I'm trying to do in the city. Excuse me, all that. Tow truck come. He like, what y'all boy about to do? I'm like, we finna go to the crib. I got the studio in the crib. We finna go drop some. I'm gonna go drop some. What you want? You want to? He like, hell yeah. So I go to the truck, holla at Bull and them. I'm like, look, that rap is I'm gonna bring to the crib, do some music. Y'all straight with that? Cause I'm still gonna tap it in with my, cause they might not hear around the night. And I'm like, all right, bro, I'm gonna get your number and catch you next time. They like, we don't give a we just try to get to these bitches. Let's go, do whatever you gonna do. So bro, jumped in, we went to my crib and we did the song Rich and Rock Ice, the first song we ever did. Even though it's Rich and Rock Ice, I still busting head on a block, all right? Even though a nigga ball and I keep dope, I still turn a head to a peephole. That's the first song we ever did in my house, the first night I met Jeezy, all right? So now, we end up becoming cool from that point. Meech is the boss, I'm running the BMF shit, so everything that come up under the BMF shit up under me. So Jeezy, all of these motherfuckers that was signed to BMF, that was supposed to be with BMF Entertainment, was up under me. It was my company with Meech. And they were signed as artists or acts under the company. Look, Jeezy didn't have no bread like that. I ain't saying he never had no money, but he wasn't rich or he had no money like that when I met him. I just told y'all he was broke down in the old school. He still had an old school. He's working on it or something. It was broke down. He had a Chevy 20 van with his little music wrapped on it. Come shop with me cover on a Chevy 20 van. That's an old school van or something. You know what I'm saying? So that's where he was at when I met him. You know what I'm saying? And that's kind of how the BMF progressed as an entertainment label. But you got to remember, we still had another side of BMF that was all street. There was a bunch of that didn't do no music and they ain't really give a fuck about that music. We would all be on the stage throwing the money. the names I named earlier would be the people that would be on the stage. We would all be on the stage, and whoever else was with us that was BMF, they would be in the crowd. They still have money to be throwing it, but everybody can't be on the stage. Like the main 4 people was on the stage. During that time is when I first met Jeezy, and how people treated Jeezy with us from our crew at that time was like he was a rap and he was one of blue people and they didn't know him. So when he would come to Magic City and then people in the front wouldn't let him in. Oh man, I'm with BMF, I'm with Blue Nil. They would come inside the club and grab somebody down there from BMF. Hey, y'all got somebody out here named Jeezy. Oh man, that's Blue Man. Hold on. They'll come grab my pants leg while I'm standing on the stage. Hey man, your man out here, bro. You gonna come let him in? So these is my homeboy. When they get to tell the people, yeah, let him in, he with us. They don't want to do that. They want to put him through the rigmarole because they weren't with him like that because he wasn't from the mob. So it was a stigma at the beginning. But it wasn't just Jeezy. Those any motherfuckers that was rapping that, like a nigga, if J-Boy ain't bring him, when these people that rapping, there's some niggas I met or something that I was trying to bring around to get cool. Niggas always, niggas try to with us, but niggas, it would be one of them kind of things. So that's how niggas treated him. That could never get in Magic City by himself like that before Blue and BMF and Meech. You know what I'm saying? That's where we was at in the city. That's how the level we was at in the city at that point in time when I met Jeezy, and the level he was at in the city when I met him. I just be wanting people to understand where the origins of all of this comes from, how the people got to the point that they are and where they came from, because that's the only thing I could see. I love that Jeezy went on to do great things. I don't like how he did it, but I love that it happened. You know why? Because it was my plan from the beginning for that to happen. It just wasn't my plan for it to happen the way that it happened and us be excluded. We'll get to that in a minute.
How come you guys didn't sign?
Okay, because at the time that we was doing everything, like you said, all we had was drug money. So if I sign them, I got to give them advancement. I can't get them. We was already giving them. We already gave him $100,000 chain and gave him a biz. He already with us. He BMF. We ain't gonna do the official signing of nobody until we got the paperwork, until we signed and we get a legal check. And now, we got $2 million. That's BMF Entertainment. Now I can sign it. How the fuck I'm gonna sign it when I don't got no money to sign them? I was trying to do real legit business with some street and let them know, hold on, this gang, this the mile. We're gonna go get this deal. Once we get this deal, everything could be allotted the right way. This is how it was supposed to happen. Let me tell you. From this 45-day session of music, studio session at Patchwork Recordings in Atlanta, the music that came from that was supposed to get promoted for 6 months. After that 180 days, I was going to take the situation wherever at the point that it was in, because we was already lit a little, but not lit because we hadn't dropped Jeezy. Jeezy wasn't dropped yet at this point. You feel me? He was just getting lit for being known to be with us and putting out a few records in that time. But we hadn't went in and like, all right, we finna do this BMS. We doing it. I'm finna launch the label. You gonna be one of the artists. You gonna be one of. We finna put this music out. Once we put the music out and get it bubbling, we gonna run up to New York. I'm gonna get the deal for BMF, and once I get the deal, you gonna sign at CTE. You gonna sign yourself to CTE. Jeezy would have signed to CTE, and CTE would have signed to BMF as a record label. BMF would have signed to Def Jam as an implant at the label. Okay, we would have took a label deal, not an artist deal is what he took. He X'd us out and went and took a label deal, I think, for $750,000. My plan was to turn up for like 6 months, do all the shit that we did anyway. We still did it once he was signed to the label, and I'll get with you on that in a second. But we supposed to record the music, turn that shit up for 6 months, then go to New York and get a big deal for the label, and then I signed CTE, his label, out of that deal and give his label a chunk, and then he pay his label out of that money. That's how it's supposed to go. If that would have happened, then what we would have had was Blue Da Vinci, Big Meech, J-Bo, more than likely, Bull, Tito, D-Shot, and Ill in the office, working in the office in Def Jam. That would have been who would have run the BMF Entertainment record label in Def Jam's office on one of their floors, okay, with an imprint, okay? And our first project would have been Jeezy, CTE, and Jeezy, and everything would have happened the same way it happened. We'd have been on Def Jam, would have had the same money, the same budget. It just would have been bigger than what it was because he still would have been connected to BMF. So I feel like the fans got their hands on Jeezy between the time the shooting happened with Wolf and the time he released his first album. Because between that period of time, Jeezy cut off all ties with BMF. No matter how people or how it seemed to people, he severed all ties. Now, those ties didn't mean that you weren't able to show up and be at a club and appear around Jeezy, but I mean ties as far as being able to do anything for or with legally BMF. That was over. So that means no more songs, no more, none of that could make money with Def Jam. Nothing that had to do with Def Jam, he would include BMF with, period. When he said he was cool with Meech or not, period. So I didn't understand it then. Remember, through all of this shit that I'm talking about, I'm a kid. I wasn't a 45-year-old man that knows what he knows now. I was like a 26-year-old young man that was being exposed to a whole lot of shit in real time, a lot of shit I knew, but I didn't know everything. And to go back to that question right quick, I should have signed him as something that I did wrong, but I was going off the real pre-test, the street.
So Blue Da Vinci had already done some work in the industry. He had been a actor, some smaller roles in some Hollywood movies. He had made rap songs. It makes sense that he was the one that kind of gave Meech some of the more knowledgeable ideas. I mean, Blue was very young at the time. He wouldn't have known that much, but he would have known something about the music and the entertainment industry generally. And here's how he says they met Jeezy. Now, Jeezy's not even from Atlanta, like people know. He claims to be from Macon. He's not really even from Macon. He's from a small town near Macon. And it's interesting how he very adroitly, which means clever and smart, he very adroitly used his affiliation with BMF's music side for marketing purposes for himself. And I'm sure, or it sounds like off the record, there were implicit promises that he would help, that if something positive happened for him in the industry, he would bring BMF along.
I never even thought that he would do nothing like that. This BMF, nigga, we buying this car, change, he with us. You feel me? He gonna be too scared to do some like that, is what I thought. But once I kick to you how it played out, it's gonna all make so much sense.
In contrast to Jeezy's genuine apparent passion to become a rapper, Blue seemed a lot more lax about it. He seemed a lot less, he seemed more callous about it. It's like, I think because he made so much money so early before his rap career took off. And I think that had a lot to do with the decisions that he made, good and bad. Having that much money turns a $1 million deal to a $5 deal. Because, nigga, I just counted $1 million 3-4 times this week. You gonna tell me you gonna give me $1 million deal when, in the aspect, nigga, that's a great deal for what you was doing at the time. There was a lot of deals that came across the table for him, and I think his cockiness, because he had so much going on and you had so much at the time, that it didn't even sound good to you.
Now, when it happened with Wolf was the third day of a 45-day studio session at Patchwork for the launch of BMF Entertainment, the first real official music for BMF Entertainment, including Jeezy, Blue Da Vinci, and some other people that we'll talk about at some other time. Now, the third day, I got the first week, I'm recording. I'm giving Jeezy the second week. And then the third week is broke down 3 days at a time between the different artists and so on and so forth until the 45 days is done. That's how I scheduled it. It's my company. I scheduled it. I'm letting you guys know how I ran this company. I scheduled the pay. We ain't got the brown bag, paid Curtis the brown paper bag of money. He's online talking about it and everything. Boom, when we start the studio, I got my producers in there, got my engineers in there. I'm paying everybody. I'm running this whole. There's no Meech in there saying, all right, look, we gonna run this through SSL. We gonna have Josh mix it over here, but we gonna have Andy mix these three because it's this sound and we need more low 808 and Andy's better with them low 808 sound. This is me in there running the record label. Okay. So now I allot Jeezy a time to record. The gunshots go off that day. I don't return back to the studio. I leave out the studio with a Carbon 15 and people at the studio thought I did the shooting, but the shooting was done and I got the call and I left. Last time I came back. Speed up. Meech had people go home to their respective states until he figured out what was going on with his double homicide charge. So while we all went back to LA, so while we in LA, what I do is I make an executive decision. And I tell Jeezy, I say, look, I'm not going to kill the studio session because we probably going to be back in 30, 20, 2-3 weeks. We'll be back. So just stay in that bitch and keep working, crank out records, because we still got to be on time for when we come back together. I ain't worried about this. Going to be popping. So he sent a couple of records back the first couple of weeks, and then next thing you know, bro, that I just get a call, bro, and it was Jeezy, and he was like, hey, I did it, bro. I did it for the fam. I just did it. I'm like, you just did what? I'm still in LA. He like, nigga, I just did it for the fam. I just signed the poor band Def Jam. I said, what? How the that happened? He like, your Jazzy fan was in the studio next day making the beats for Bad Man, nigga, ain't there fucking with Jazzy fan, nigga, and blah, blah, blah. I'm like, bro, let me call you back. I called Meech. Like, bro, why is he calling me talking about he just signed all kind of record deals? What the Meech like, yeah, man, nigga, it's on. Signed the Def Jam. He with Puff. I'm like, what you mean? He with Puff and he signed the Def Jam, bro. Like, we not involved. Like, wait, wasn't nobody gonna tell me or say nothing? That contracts is signed, this shit is done. He like that. So the stigma basically was, the aura was, I was hating on Jeezy because Jeezy got signed. Okay. Now, if the people that were feeling that way understood the record business and what was going on with me being the president and co-owner of this company, then they would understand that that was our ticket out of the streets. You idiots. That was never supposed to happen. How did it happen though? Okay. You want to see, now we got to figure out how did that happen. This is how it happened. When Meech was on house arrest back then, everybody was gone from BMF. He didn't have nobody to do for him. So he called me and said, hey, bro, you got to send me somebody down here that could do some running for me, bro. Bring me the bitches from the club in the middle of the night, double stack, eat pills, weed, and while I'm in here on this house arrest. I still got the party. I'm the boss. And he was right. Only person I had to send was who? The person that lived there that was in my studio session every day. Jeezy. This is where Jeezy and Meech build their bond. This is when Jeezy and Meech become like Blue and Meech. Because he's left there with Meech while Meech on house arrest, and every night he come to bring him his luxuries of life. The bitches, the pills, the motherfucking weed, the drink, the whole party. Motherfuckers in that bitch rolling, high double stacks, fucking do whatever he want. Meech still living his life on house arrest for the wolf. And Jeezy was the only there from the gang at the beginning, and they got like this. And once Jeezy saw how cool he got with Meech, he understood that Meech didn't know nothing about this mother music. He figured it out. Oh shit, I don't need Blue no more. Meech my man. I got it. So he was sending me songs back to LA on. So I'm like, yes, finna go up. When we all get back, we finna go crazy. The bag gonna be together. This gonna be straight, blah, blah, blah. This ended up signing a record deal. See, they felt like it was gonna be over for BMF. They thought it was over for Meech with the double homicide accusation. So the whole time he was with Meech, he didn't really feel like Meech was gonna make it out that situation. So they ran off and left us, and they left us out of it. Either that or the feds pressed them and told them that they couldn't involve us in it. Now, mind you, we was left out of the situation after we created the situation. I'm the nigga that told Jeezy to start looking like me. Start looking like an LA Crip. And talking his BMF, hit the brakes, hit the lights. Wow, there go them bricks. This all the he was seeing, he saw that in a spot car. And that was a combination from a car before. He's telling the combination from spot cars. That's how in-depth. That's why people loved it so much, because he was seeing what we was doing and he was transferring it to the lyrics. And niggas was like, oh my God, he's the ultimate street. No, that's Big Meech's work and his program of how he was doing his operations that y'all fell in love with listening to.
We was getting so much money at that point in time that he wanted to go as a crew to his shows and all of that. And I'd rather work. So now to ride with my homeboy, I don't want to ride with you. I'm gonna go catch this bag. And that's where the separation started to become with us, where it's like, man, come on, let's go do this. And I'm like, man, I'm working now. I got to do this, and he want to do that. And I think that's what changes some of the decisions that he made with his music. There wasn't no separation move with Jeezy because he was always doing his CTE thing.
I didn't.
It was never like that. He was always, see, that's what people, I think a lot of people get mixed up. Everybody always had their own crews, where they came from. You never had to stop being from where you from or stop claiming what you claim because you with BMF now. And that, I think a lot of people get that misinterpreted with everybody who comes around like, oh, he's still from there. He's still from wherever he was claiming before he met us. It does not mean we are a gang and you are affiliated with us and stop claiming we are not a gang. That's the whole thing. We are a family. First and foremost, we are a family. He was accepted in as a family member, and that's how we accept him, as family. If all your homeboys, they become family too. CTE, whoever they are, everybody becomes a family, and that's what people don't realize. They like, oh, he switched up, or he did this wrong, or he did that. It was never nothing about nobody switching up or nothing. It was us embracing him and his crew now. And that's where you started seeing CTE and BMF together like that. That was just us embracing what they had going on.
All right, so it came a time where when I did the label launch and all that, because Jeezy signed the record deals, I had to give me a record deal right quick because he fucked us. Now, before Meech went to jail in 2005, when I still won with Jeezy, at my house in Miami, I had the big studio in. Jeezy came over one day with Meech, and I had Fabulous there. We had this song called Streets on Lock. Fabulous wasn't there when Jeezy came though, but the song was done already, and Meech's like, man, you gotta put Jay on it. I'm like, nah, bro. Hey, bro, he ain't with us, y'all. I don't want him on the record. He goes, my business up. Come on, dog. For me, dog. I got to hear all three of y'all boys on that shit at the same time. You feel me? We can shoot the video, all three. He still, Big Meech was on that. He hot. Here I go, still young, under the influence of the big homie, Big Meech, man. Go ahead, man. Put the on this. And I did not want him on that record, bro. Any in the house could tell you. S-Dog could tell you, using them up. So look, put him on the record, right? Speed up, drop the album. That single was out, doing numbers. I'm at like 300 spins a week already, BDS. I'm on the tour bus, on the road, doing the first promo tour for the album. I get a call from Allen Grove, letting them at Koch, telling me they finna pull the record from radio because we got everybody's signatures except for CTE and Jeezy. We got Def Jam for Jeezy, Def Jam for Fabulous. We got Desert Storm, Clueless Gang. We got Fabulous name on there as an artist. You know, all our signatures for BMF or whatever on this. All he wanted me to have was his. So Radio 1 and Clear Channel was finna pull my record from the radio while I'm on the road, and I done put all $220,000 into the campaign for this single. They shot the video with Benny Boone, spent $200,000 at that time. We're spending that much for video. The Streets on Lock video. So I done put down there $500,000 into this, and this little bitch ass never signed off on my.
Now, after Big Meech was accused of gunning down Anthony Wolf Jones and Lamont Gertie in the parking lot at the Atlanta nightclub, which he was never charged or convicted. Well, maybe he was charged, but the charges were dropped. That's when things got hot for BMF. It was kind of downhill from there. Meech ended up going to Miami, and he was in Texas a lot. I think he was taken into custody in Miami. Blue Da Vinci was primarily living in Miami.
We slide down there to Miami, down here. So we get here. As soon as I pull up, we go to the house, put the bus up, nigga, pull out the trucks and pull back up to the beach. Jeezy is in the club. So we pull up, and he tell me, I call, he tell me, man, come and measure. He was a man, coming on, man, he coming on, come outside. So he come outside. As soon as he come outside, his nigga, now, as soon as we start talking, we start walking up the street. We can't even get the conversation started. And some little young Miami, like, oh, there go Jeezy, yeah, Blue Da Vinci, nigga, BMF. Hey, bro, let us get a picture. And my little cousin twin, that's like one of the Cole, I don't know what he is at Def Jam, right? One of the Warner, one of the big label right now. This is my little play cousin twin from LA that I put in the mix of all this with Baby Blue. He come in with Baby Blue back then. Baby Blue and the twins come in together, and I exposed them to all this BMF for him to go with Jeezy, to go with Gucci, and all that. This is my little man. But people don't know about twins. Go ahead, ask him when you see him. He'll tell you. But that's my loved one, though. So now, twin, hey, hold on, bro. Then they ain't trying to talk right now, man. You see, they talking, bro, and the nigga then twin. It started a big old fight. It led into some shooting. So got arrested. So now if you think about Jeezy's cases, he caught a gun case on Miami Beach. Oh, that's what that was. Yeah. That's what that was. But that was my homeboy jumping in the car, putting that pistol in that car, telling them, if any one of you tell the security, and he told Jeezy, if y'all niggas tell them, you're going to kill the whole CTE up. Jumped in the car and said that. Jeezy had to take that pistol case. Wasn't no not taking it. The big homie didn't take it, that's for sure. He didn't even go to jail that day. Jeezy did. So anyway.
So the final chapter in this little story about Jeezy and BMF and Blue Da Vinci consists of the question, what was the circumstances under which Jeezy interacted with the federal government? I mean, he turned in Meech's cars that he had possession of, which, I mean, you kind of have to, and that doesn't mean you're told anything. It is quite interesting that there were people, at least one guy, and it might have been more than one, I can't remember, under oath in one of the many, many BMF conspiracy cases, because there was like, I think at least 5 different cities I can think of. I did a story on it. There were BMF indictments that specifically were Black Mafia family cases. In one of those, the cousin of Sims, Ralphie Sims, whose cousin was he? Or did he work for Bad Boy? Well, anyways, he said on the witness stand, he witnessed Jeezy being given kilos of cocaine for sale. Jeezy was obviously never charged. Now,
how the cars get turned in is them as supposed to. Now, this comes from Big House. Now, this information right here, I don't got paperwork on. Most of the shit I say I got paperwork on, 99%. But this comes from the security that was Meech's security at first, used to be Jay-Z security. And Big Hamza. Now, Hamza comes to when I got home from prison, he came to my restaurant. I had a restaurant when I came home. I bought a restaurant. And he counted a restaurant to give me this information. He say, look, when Twill and Jeezy had to go do a lie detector test about that shooting on South Beach for that case. But he said when they went, said it startled him that they put up to the federal building, it was a state case, number one. They put up in Miami to the federal building and not Miami PD or North Miami PD or South Beach PD or none of that. They put up to the Fed building. He said, but security and everybody had to stay outside. Jeezy and the lawyer went in. He said, so while they sitting outside in the trucks, Meech cars pull up on the flatbeds. That's how we know that he turned the cars into him. That's where the cars went. So when he had the meeting with the people, he had the cars pull up, the 2 cars he had. So whatever the meeting was, it was more than the gun. You feel me? Because he was turning in cars to the feds during his meeting. And I'm just figuring this is how we know that they had their hands on him. And this is why he was acting how he was and why he couldn't f with us. See, the feds would do that to people that got a chance to get in trouble, that should be in trouble, or maybe they had somebody to make a call for them. And that's some of their stipulations is, look, we not going to hit you with this indictment. We see everything and your involvement and blah, 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 all of these statements against you. We ain't going to hit you with the indictment. You got some strong people that believe you could do some great things out here, but you can't with these people and you can't do nothing with these people or help them or do anything to further what they're doing. Clean them up. Because to clean them up, or we going to come back and indict you. And that's why Jeezy, nigga, has never, ever, since Meech got shot, done anything with Blue Da Vinci. But he never signed it off legally so the government can say, oh, he did this, and that financially helped Blue.
So, from the story Blue just told, which is from Hamza, who I think went on to be Jay-Z and Beyonce's bodyguard, if I remember correctly, sounds like Jeezy could have insulated himself from his time with BMF some kind of way with the federal government. Maybe that'll come out one day. Maybe he didn't do anything. Hard to know. But Blue Da Vinci sounds pretty... His description sounds plausible. Of course, people are going to make themselves sound as good as possible, and maybe he has packaged up the story to sound as good as possible, but it sounds good to me. Sounds logical. I'll just say that. And definitely believable, all the components. So the saga of a guy that truly used the streets for his benefit in the smartest way, I guess, Jeezy. You get the street cred and the money spent on your marketing without having too many obligations. And 50 Cent did the same thing with BMF. because 50 Cent and the people as stars are the primary beneficiary of that show. They'll own the rights forever. Actors don't get percentages, and criminals who get TV shows made about them or movies don't get back in percentage points either. And I know that for a fact. Al Prophet, American Dope.